FNAF Secret of the Mimic is a definition of a 5 out of 10 game. The game isn't bad, but it is disappointing. Now, if you watched my security breach video, you must be a little shocked because I gassed up Steel Wool in that video. To my knowledge, this is currently the FNAF game with the most control by Steel Wool. I remember watching through the second Scott interview with Dawko and Scott mentioning that with Security Breach there were too many cooks in the kitchen, and how he decided to let them more to their own devices on this one. And you can feel that. Some people are frustrated with how far we strayed from the conventions of the very first game. We can walk now, it's 3D, no more 6 a.m. timer. We arguably kind of moved away from the animatronics and it's more focused on suits now. And most noticeably, no Fred, Bond, Fox, or Chica. But honestly, I think that's all a good thing. I'm ready to see what new developers can do. And my biggest criticism is that this game feels like just more of the same. No. I think the thing that I'm really mourning is Scott moving farther and farther away from the franchise. His games always brought out this indie charm, and you really gotta feel his own personal style through his games. But that soul feels like it's been traded for a more generic mascot horror feel, more akin from the developers of a Hello Neighbor game. I feel like this game is taking more inspiration from Poppy Playtime more than the other way around, which is not a good thing. I feel like that game was engineered very meticulously to do well on the internet and not out of any creative vision. Especially because the owners own a content farm-ish YouTube channel, like how Baby does weirdly well on YouTube thumbnails, so the game's flagship girl has an uncanny resemblance to her, and this is getting into conspiracy theory land. But one of the game's special lore dates is June 28th, and I'm not saying they did that just to get a reaction on Markiplier. But I'm not saying that.
Stuff is blast.
I know when your birthday is. June 28th.
All I'm saying is the more you think about this game, the more you realize it's a skinwalker disguised in a video game suit. But I have to at least give it some props because, first of all, it has beautiful animations. And second, I think it ultimately has a better structured story than FNAF. Nevertheless, I am delighted to say that this game probably beats every other FNAF game story-wise. FNAF got big by its unique method of storytelling, where the story isn't handed to you and you have to solve the pieces yourself. But that worked so well the first time that every FNAF game after thought it had to be cryptic as well. But for a mystery story to work, usually a writer will set up a mystery, then solve it with an answer that only creates more questions, and the cycle repeats itself. But with FNAF, there is no truly solving anything. Nothing can ever be truly confirmed because that would mean less mystery. But that means as a viewer, I can't start theorizing in FNAF 9 about if Vanny and Vanessa are the same person because I'm too busy in FNAF 4 having a stroke because I don't know what this child's name is. I hope I'm explaining this well. It's like playing with dogs. You gotta give up an answer every once in a while so he wants to keep on playing. But in FNAF Secret of the Mimic, there's a straightforward story that you follow, with you gathering easy-to-reach clues that develop the story, but the story gets confirmed by the end of it. But for the people who want more than that, there's secrets in there that can scratch that old FNAF itch. It's a great blend. But there's one problem. This is the fourth FNAF Steel Wool project, and we're already retreading old ground. This is the second time we're getting an epic Music Man chase. This is the third time we're doing a ball gun pirate Foxy segment. Altogether, this is the fourth time the end twist is the person who you only heard their voice is secretly the Mimic, and the story is now hyper-focusing on an inventor slowly replacing his entire family with robots due to grief for the second time now. I've seen this all before, and if we're already copying old material, it makes it come across like this team is out of creative juice, when I know that's not true. Another problem I have with the game is the mascot characters. I know the intention was to make them feel cheap and generic, but that's not a good sell for the new installment in your horror franchise, where everyone mainly cares about the characters. I remember FNAF games through their characters, and I feel like even with this cast chock full of colorful characters, none of them really stood out or were fully utilized. Jackie was all over the marketing of this game, but we really saw every moment she was on screen in the trailer. I feel like I'm making it sound like I hate this game when I really don't. The Angry Star Baby was everything. I like that funky little fruity mushroom. Edwin and especially Fiona's voice actors killed it. They sounded really adorkable. The game did a fabulous job of humanizing them, where I felt genuinely sad when the inevitable reveal is shown. Also, the recording in the final office is so harrowing and well done, with the mimic now copying Edwin while he's hurt and calling out for help, as they just repeat back the neglectful lines he said to David. Chef's kiss. To be fair, I don't know how lifted that is from the book. I refuse to read those. The books were the worst things to ever happen to FNAF. That and that stupid app. All it does is oversaturate things and make more lore that can't decide how canon it wants to be. But now we're getting on a tangent. I have a story that about sums up my feelings on this game. When I heard the next FNAF game was going to take place in a costume shop, with a robot lurking in what could be any of them, I was really hyped. I felt like there was so much potential for fun stuff to do, with maybe a heightened focus on stealth, perhaps a way to narrow down suspicious costumes Junior style. Maybe the Mimic could switch suits in the same area, making it so you have to watch where he goes. But then I found out in-game that they just come alive after a minute, that they turn into any other enemy in these types of games. And all of a sudden, I felt very whelmed. Do I think I'll watch a playthrough of the next FNAF game? Yeah. Do I think I'll pay another $40 to play it? Probably not. Subscribe.